surprised you.
Are we ready for by the numbers?
Let's get to by.
Okay, let's do it.
Puckpedia, the ultimate source for your NHL salary cap information, player contracts, team cap hits, transaction news, and injury news.
By the numbers.
Well, hey, before you get started, Pawel, I do want people mention. So interesting enough. Let me just double check. Look at that. Next week, Puckpedia's own Hart Levine will be with us here at Two Guys and Hockey Talk. You need to go in. They have some incredible stuff that you go in. You can play fantasy. You can do stuff. In fact, you can subscribe to them to get all the latest on the movements and players and signings, contracts, salary cap, be able to do it. But don't do one thing I've done recently when it comes to Puckpedia. Don't ask AI when you're trying to be lazy, because AI gave me half this year's information, half last year's information, and went in the middle. And then I looked like a stupid dummy on X. It's just like, I didn't want to tell anyone. So unless they watch our show, they don't get to know. But yeah, definitely go right to Puckpedia and check it out.
That's one of your sources, huh? Awesome. Well, some quick numbers that have been happening. So both Tyler Myers and Ian Cole have been fined $2,500. Tyler Myers in that Vancouver versus Edmonton game where Myers cross-checked Mr. Connor McDavid in the gonads, and Ian Cole for his kind of very reckless tripping of Steven Stamkos of the Nashville Predators. It's nothing to these guys, but the NHL doesn't want to set a precedent, so they're going to throw in a quick fine just to make sure things are happening.
Does that change anything? Does that change anything?
I think so. I think it does, because sometimes that means that you're the one. What if you're the one paying for the bill, for the meal, for the team, right? And you got to cover that.
I'm gonna leave that. I want to talk about my rant of the night next week. Okay, I'm coming back. I want to talk about fines and penalties, suspensions and stuff next week in my rant. Okay.
Well, fine.
Go ahead.
I said, well, fine. Some been injuries watching day to day or week to week for some players, including Markstrom, who was just in discussions for a contract with the New Jersey Devils. Matt Duchene, he took that big hit from Jason Middleton versus the Minnesota Wild. It looked rough, but it was a clean hit to my mind from what I saw. And Lucas Raymond, who's out for tonight's game in that last game versus, I believe, Toronto over the weekend. So it was definitely there's definitely a lot of injuries happening, including, of course, Dmitry Kulikov of the Florida Panthers. So another loss for the Florida Panthers. It doesn't look like they've lost a step, but you keep losing pieces. It's tough to kind of make that up, but it's the next man up mentality. So good for them. I think Montreal or Ottawa Senators, it was also announced the heartbeat and their captain, Brady Tkachuk, is out 4 weeks with a wrist injury. I saw that again also versus Nashville. Nashville's been part of some interesting things. Even last night when they played Toronto, a new player named Oz something. He ended up Ozmet, yeah. He ended up kind of bodying their young rookie Easton Cowan went into the boards. Cowan looked fine, but again, just a dangerous, reckless play. You never want to see that. And so, yeah, some of that stuff is happening. Now, you wanted to talk a little bit about offer sheets and something that Carolina's been kind of working off this past summer. You want to get into that?
Yeah, just a quick little mention just around the offer sheets. Is so last summer, guys, everyone knew that, of course, they signed Andre Miller, but they were the one that was in on it with Andre Miller and Evan Bouchard, and they actively sought out those players, and then they talked to the teams. They said, listen, we're going to put an offer sheet in if you're not doing something, unless you want to make a deal. And they were going to get their man one way or the other. And of course, they got Andre Miller. So it's interesting because I think a lot of people look and say, oh, the bad boys, right? They did this with Montreal. I mean, in fact, they pulled they pulled a smart one in the sense that they only had Kasperi. Is it Kasperi Kotkaniemi? I think is how do you say his name? I always
Kasperi Kotkaniemi. Yeah. That was a while back from Montreal. Yeah.
Well, but if you remember when they signed him, offer sheet, they did it for a 1 year. It was a 1 year offer sheet, and then they could sign them whatever the next year. It was an agreement that they actually had in place. So they're aggressive, but nobody talks about them. They're kind of always there on the side. They're the little sister, just like, they're always around, always hanging out, and they're very competitive. But yet big old bad old Vegas, Kelly McCrimmon gets all the news. And it's only because of the LTIR that they've been. If it wasn't for the LTIR, they'd be the exact teams. And by the way, the LTIR, you can use it or not. And just that Carolina, outside of goalies, they've really had no other LTIR earlier in the year that they could take advantage of that for the playoffs. So, and I don't know, maybe they're just not that kind of team. But, let's face it. I mean, they've been aggressive for being a team that's tight. They've definitely been a different kind of team. So, hey,
very well internally, and they've really helped themselves kind of set themselves up for the future, both with their veterans and their prospects. And I think they still need that scoring the postseason, because that's often what's gotten them in trouble. But they're expected to do at least for another second, third round. Like, they're a very well run.
I was told, expect them, if there is something big out there, they're going big fish hunting again, and they will do it every year as long as they have a chance. All right, guys, that's it for By the Numbers.
Puckpedia, the ultimate source for your NHL salary cap information, player contracts, team cap hits, transaction news, and injury news.